Hi guys, and welcome to the third part of our tutorial. In this video we're gonna create our logic. We'll be able to add and delete items and automatically calculate subtotal and total. I've already prepared our form so we can watch our form. So just launch our server and go to localhost. So our form is looking like this. Don't waste your time on HTML and CSS. You can simply copy our form from my GitHub repo. So just copy this HTML and paste to your form. Also, you should copy our invoices as CSS file and import to your application as CSS. All these files you can find on my GitHub repo. So what did I do? First of all, I've added IDs to all our inputs, all our text fields. This is our IDs. So I've added to be selectable in jQuery. Also, I've added a number of our invoice. This is a little bit of Ruby code. Now you see I check if we have last invoice, if it's present, so we can output invoice last ID plus 1. Or if we don't have last invoice, for example, if it's the first invoice, we just output the number 1. It will be the number of our invoice. So let's go further. This is our date field. This is our currency. I've added ID of invoice currency. After that, I've added due. This is our total. This is our amount total, just the number. And class of due. Also, I have added our items table. This is it. Now you see I have added classes to all our columns and the values to our inputs. Now this is these two rows I've created automatically, and this is our hide row. This is where start our button. Let's go down, and now we see this is our subtotal and total table. I have added ID of subtotal, the value of our subtotal. Also, I've added tax, and now this is a hidden field amount. What is this? So special field, it is not visible from browser, but it exists. This is a simple input, so we cannot type amount. We cannot type any amount to our form control. It's not visible, but we can access it with jQuery. After that, this is a simple submit payment and our terms. I have added terms to make our invoice look more professional. This is a simple text area. We can change the value. Okay. Now, as you see, our item table is not working. We cannot create items or delete them. So let's add our JavaScript. Okay, open up your Invoices coffee file, and I'm gonna change the extension to simple.js. Also open up your main.js file. So remove unnecessary content. And let's try to make our item table work. Okay, first we need to access our add item button. This is our button. It has ID of add item. So I'm gonna select of our ID. This is add item. Or add row. Yeah, ID add row, not add item. So add row. And the event, click. In that event, we're gonna paste the function. And we should select our last row. So how we can do it? Just simply item row last. So first select our class item row. This is our row. All our rows have similar class. And last. This is our last row. And after that, we're gonna put HTML. So we're gonna put row, next row. First, copy that and paste it here and close our TR. After that, copy our input. Just simply copy and paste it here. This is our item name input, but we can change the value to placeholder of item name. Okay, fine. Now the next will be description. Control C. This is description. Change the value to placeholder. Add item description. Fine. Now next will be cost. Copy and paste. Initial value will be null. After that, quantity. initial value will be null. Okay, now next will be price. Just copy and paste. Initial price will be null. Then span of class subtotal currency. This is storage for our currency value. So if we type, for example, US dollar, it will appear here after the price. Okay, then go to delete button. Just copy and paste. Okay, save that file. Add semicolon. And now we're gonna check if our delete buttons is greater than null. If Control C, if the length is greater than null, our delete button will appear. So just type show. Okay. Yeah. Now it's correct. Save our main.js file and then refresh our page. Now click our add row button and now we see we have the newly created row. Now we should be able to delete our rows. So the next function will delete. First we need to use our on JavaScript function. On look like this. So on click, this is our event, button delete. There will be a function. Okay, we should find our parents. Of name item row. And just remove it. Event remove. And check if the length of our delete buttons, if the quantity of our delete buttons is less than 2, we should hide our delete button. Okay, now I realized that we don't have our delete buttons because this is not average button. Span of class T close. What is this? This is the icon. If you know, there is a couple of icon packs. The most popular is Font Awesome, but I prefer another font pack which is called Themify Icons. This is their site, themify.me, and they have beautiful outline icons. Now we should install this icon. They have these Themify icons have gem. Yeah, let's go to their GitHub page and just paste this gem to our gem file. So I'm gonna clear a little bit our gem file. Now it looks more readable. Okay, save our gem file, go to your terminal and type bundle. Okay, and we have to import our icons CSS. Just copy and paste it to our application SCSS file. I'm gonna paste it right after date picker. Okay, launch our server, and this is the close button. Refresh your page, and now we see this is the X button. Okay, I believe that X button is working. Yes, when we click to our delete button, it deletes the row. If there is the only one row, delete button disappears. It is hidden. When we add, now it appears. Okay, fine. Now the next step will calculate our price. Currently now you see if I type, for example, 100 and quantity of 2, it does not calculate our price. So let's add our function. It will live in invoices.js file. I call it function update price. And what we need, first of all, we need to define our row. This is our row. It is the parent. Parents of class item row. Okay, now let's select our price. So our price will be row, and the method find. Our cost. First we need to find our cost and its value, the value of input, and multiply to our quantity. Just copy and paste and change the cost to quantity. Add missing semicolon. After that, we need to round the value to the 2 characters after the point. So just price to fix it. To fix it of 2 characters. Not to fix it but 2. Yeah, and then we check if it's not a number. And pass the value to our actual price. So find the price by of price and put HTML with the content of not a number. Otherwise, we should put the actual value of our price. So row find our price and put HTML price. Yeah. And now after that, in our main.js file, first we need to write another function. It will be called bind or bind1. Yeah. Every time when our cost or quantity is updating, we will call our function DatePrice. So first select our cost and add function of blur, and inside update price. So repeat the procedure with quantity. Okay, here is our cost and our quantity. Now save our Invoice.js file and go to main.js, and we should paste the function when we add row. It's bind1. After that, bind1. Okay, now save our file and go back to the browser. Yeah, now we see when we changed our quantity, it calculates our price. When we add our row, let's say 100 and quantity of 10, and the output will be 1000. And note that it will have 2 characters after the point. For example, if it has this float as cost, it will round to 2 characters. Okay, good. Now we should be able to update our subtotal. So how we can do it? Go back to our invoices.js file and we need to write another function. I will call it update subtotal. Okay, first we need to initialize our value. Var subtotal equals to null. After that, we should iterate over price and add to our subtotal, add to this sum. Okay, now select our prices. This is the class of price. Now we see, here is it, the span for the price. It has class price. Okay, and inside put function, and it has parameter, one parameter. After that, let's create our variable price and store the value of the price. It's this, so it will be this HTML. Now we should convert number. First check if it's not a number. Is not a number. Or it is number. So subtotal just plus the price but before convert to number. Okay, after that we should round the value of our subtotal. So just copy the same way as subtotal to fix it of 2, and select our subtotal. We can select by ID. This is our ID. This is the default value. So okay, now select by ID subtotal, and paste our actual value. Okay, now save our function and go back and go to our price, and we should call our function update subtotal. So every time when our price is updated, any price is updated, it will calculate subtotal. So just copy and paste. Save our file. And go to your main.js file. Every time when we delete our row and actual price, we should update our subtotals. So let's call this function, or maybe here, update subtotal when we delete. So when event of click to delete button, we add subtotal. Okay, save and go to your Invoice. Now let's try to calculate our subtotal. First I'm gonna change the quantity. Now okay, now the price is changed and the subtotal it is recalculated. For example, if I add the row, now we have, for example, 1000 cost, 2 of quantity. Now subtotal calculates according to the changes of our prices, and after delete it goes back to the previous value. So if we delete, this is only this value, the value of this price. If we add, it calculates automatically. So far so good. Now we need to calculate our total by just tax to our subtotal. Okay, let's write the function. Let's write the function. Update balance. Okay, first we need to create variable of total. And it will be a sum of subtotal and tax. First let's select our subtotal. Now we know that it has the ID of subtotal. Okay, now the value of this subtotal and convert it to number. And add our tax. Our tax has input of ID 9. So let's select Ctrl C, ID 9. It is not HTML value because this is the input, this is a form control. Okay, now we have our total and we should round the number. Okay, this is our total to fixed of 2, and then pass the value to our HTML. Now our HTML has class due. And put HTML why I choose class rather than ID, because I do have another amount value, so that's it. The pan also has amount. I want our total to be displayed 2 times, here. So that's why I chosen class. Okay, save our file and we need to call our function. I'm gonna call it in subtotal. So when we update our subtotal, we also update our total. Okay. Control V. Control V. Now let's check our syntax if it's correct. Okay, now it's correct. So let's go back to our document and add event. If our tax is updated, we also need to recalculate our total. So I'm gonna the selector. Okay, I remember the ID of our tax is 9. Let's put 9 and blur it. Blur or update balance. And first I'm gonna paste another function. So every time we click the input, we should select it. So just event of click. It has function inside. Okay, and this will be selected. Okay, save our file, go back to the browser. Okay, let's try to catch our text changing event. So I'm gonna change the text to 10 and now see our total is changed. For example, our 100, now you see the 975. I tried to change my subtotal. Now you see our subtotal and total are recalculated, and this is a value, and it is, for example, let's add row at 1000. Here it is. I'm gonna try to delete. It seems like it's all is working. Okay, good. Now I'm gonna paste the value of our currency to this place. This is a very good looking feature. Okay, let's find our subtotal currency. Well, we need to add the same event. Click or so not click but key up, and when we key press our currency, so we should pass our currency control. So here it is. This is our currency and its ID, invoice currency. Copy and paste here. And inside that function, first we need to pass value of our input to variable. Okay, now this will look like this. This is the value of, and the value will be passed to variable of C. After that, we need to empty the contents of our subtotal currency span. So the function is, first we need to select subtotal currency and empty the contents, and after append the value of C. So append C. First maybe we need to append the space. Okay, put semicolon, save it file, and go back. Okay, I'm trying to input our currency now. See, it automatically appends to the value of price to the subtotal and total according to their places at the same time. Okay, fine. Now I want to pass value of my date here, header of our invoice. Now remember that this is a plugin which is called DatePrice, and it has its own events. Okay, I'm gonna put it after we initialize date picker. Okay, when we click or when we change date in our invoice date, here is our date. Probably we need to pass ID. Okay, ID of invoice date. And then select it. Control C, Control V. It will be invoice date. Okay, after that, add date pick. And when date, our date picker. When we change date, we should fetch the value of our date. When we change date, it will look like this. Pass the function. Yeah. Then store the value of our date to variable date. So first copy our selector, fetch the value, and to pass the ID of this element. So where is our ID? This is it. The span of class invoice header date. It doesn't have ID, it has class. So copy class, select, also we need to empty the value of this component and then append our date. Yeah, will look like this. Okay, save, go back, pass the value of date, and now we appears at the very end of our invoice. Fine. And now we need to be able to submit our payment and pass the value of our total to our hidden field. Here it is. This is our hidden field account. Currently, if we submit our payment, for example, I don't know, it has currency, and we submit, it will not have the amount. The amount will be null. Yeah, this is null. So we need to create the function. First, we need to find the ID of our button submit. Here it is. It has ID of submit. This. So copy it at the very bottom, I believe. So copy it. This is ID of our submit invoice, or not. We should have the event jQuery event on. This is a live event. So copy and paste it here. So when we click our button submit, we create the file. First, we need to find the value of our total. Where is it? The ID of span. This is ID, invoice total. So copy that ID and paste it here. Value. Here's our actual value, or not value but text, because it's not input. Okay, and store it to the variable. Yeah, and then similar procedure, we empty hidden field. Our hidden field has ID of invoice total, so copy and paste the class but ID. this is our invoice total. We see and then add the value, because don't forget this is input. This is the average form control. So pass the value of E, but before we need to convert to number. That will look like this. So save that file, and I'm gonna check the syntax. Right, when we click our submit, we fetch the value of our total, empty our hidden field, and pass the value of this total. So let's refresh. And try to submit. Yeah, now it has the amount. Okay. Our event is catched. Let's try to create our actual invoice. So, for example, it will be test, or I don't know, maybe BMW, which has some address, which has some phone. Our contingent will be Mercedes, which has address and phone. Note that the number of invoice will be 9. So check the date, or maybe we should first create our items. I don't know, like this, and the unit cost will be. Now we see our subtotal is generated. Add the tax, maybe like this. Okay, now currency. Good, now let's submit our payment. Now it has company contingent amount. Fine. Okay, now invoice logic is working. Good. So what we need is to print our actual invoice. So in the next tutorial we will be creating our printing logic. So we need to stop our server and commit our latest changes. So just git status and git commit. Oh, first of all we need to add our changes and commit. Part 3, create items, calculate subtotal and total. Okay, the import or install Themify icons. Now we should push it to a GitHub repo, and don't forget to deploy to Elastic Beanstalk by typing eb deploy. So your latest changes will be deployed to your Elastic Beanstalk, to your production. So for today, this is all. Today we have done a good job. We have created our table with items where we can add or delete items and automatically generate, calculate our subtotal and total, and pass these values to the database to save these values. So for today, this is all, and bye bye.